Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mafasa's book readings. Welcome. Happy Monday. And as you know, we're still continuing with the book that we have been reading titled The Third Alternative by Stephen Covey. And today we're moving on to chapter 5 of it. And the chapter 5 is titled The Third Alternative at School. Okay, and it starts off with a quote by Maria Montessori. The quote reads, the child's potential, free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. Okay, so I'll start with the reading of the chapter. In every nation I visit, I look into the eyes of the children and see the same sparks of light and smiles. Anybody who bothers to look can sense the limitless promise in each unique face. Anything less than the achievement of that promise is a devastating loss to society. We trust much of achievement of that promise to our schools. Across the globe, there are parents and teachers who struggle together, sometimes against great obstacles, to give their children the best chance they can. Most people agree that educating children is the only answer to persistent poverty of all kinds, physical, mental, and spiritual, but also the key to our very future on this planet. For me, this issue is both global and personal. I've seen satellite views of Earth at night strung with a web of lights. I know those lights represent countless families and children dreaming about their possibilities. And I wonder how many of them will be fulfilled or frustrated. I have also grandchildren of my own, and their joy in the future is deeply important to me. Most people share my concerns. In our serious challenge survey. We asked respondents on every continent to name the biggest challenges their country faces. Along with resolving unemployment, providing a good education was ranked topmost. When asked why, respondents offered these answers. Education is a building block towards finding the answer to all the other difficulties that we face. A good education is the foundation upon which we can build for a better and more innovative future. The world is advancing faster than we are, and the amount of money put towards education is severely lacking compared to the other formidable nations. Through education, the other problems could be solved. Our education system is not working. The teachers are lazy, corrupt, and not prepared. We need an educational model. We need an educational model. We need an educational model that truly empowers and provides opportunities for students. Good education is the base for everything. Educated people have their own mindsets and don't fall for wrong messiahs or promises. If we get education right, everything else follows automatically. Many children in poor and emerging countries like ours have very little education, especially girls. Education can solve many of the problems of the world. Good education is the basis of prosperity, employment, economic growth. Poor education has gotten us where we are today. I taught in our public school for 10 years. We need to change our structure before it's too late. Education is most important. All other efforts will be more successful after that. Clearly, one of the biggest challenges is how best to help children learn and fulfill the promise of the future. In China and India, education excels in the major cities, but lags in the hinterland. Education in Finland and South Korea is of very high quality due to supportive and homogeneous culture. In Canada, Britain, and America, however, the headlines are disturbing. Toronto, Johnny can't read and he's in college. London, British school leavers can't read or write or have an attitude problem. Washington, 82% of US schools failing. Every nation faces different challenges, but the same question confronts the whole world. Is it possible to provide every child an excellent or even decent education? The great debate. This question has spurred a great debate with many shades of difference, but it generally breaks down to two sides. On one side, those who believe that lagging achievement is due to lack of equity, poverty, racism, dysfunctional families, and political unwillingness to give schools adequate resources. These voices tend to come from the educational establishment. On the other side are those who believe that the educational establishment is itself the problem. That is the hidebound, the mediocre, failing to keep pace with a changing world. These tend to belong to the business community. Business leaders can't understand why educators won't listen to them. Frustrated with what looks like swarm of mediocrity, they tend that schools can't succeed unless they adopt the traits that have long made American private sector an engine of the global prosperity. In its dynamism, creativity, and relentless focus on efficiency and results. To their eyes, the educational establishment is a floundering dinosaur that lacks in the incentives of the marketplace to thrive. Schools, they say, need some competition that will force innovation and quality improvements. Many advocates of the separation of school and state say the entire system should be sold off and privatized. What business leaders think they hear from educators annoys them. Pay us more or your kids will suffer. Your stinginess is the reason educational results are slipping. You obviously don't value your children or you'd fund us properly. Just leave us to work our short hours and take our months-long vacations and mind your own business. Many business people resent the educational establishment as a money pit that yields less and less return. Of course, educators have an entirely different paradigm. They hold that business differs fundamentally from the education. So leaders have no business in the schools. Teaching should be exempt from the taint of the profit motive. It's a calling, not a job. A privatized system will quickly lead to gross inequities, wherein rich families can afford the best schools and poor families get the crumbs. A huge achievement gap separates struggling minorities from the privileged children. Private schools can take who they want when they want, but public schools are on duty, bound to take whoever walks in the door. A new arrival might have a learning disorder or only speak a foreign language. He might come from a dysfunctional home or even from jail. Regardless, the public school have a moral responsibility to nurture him. Unlike corporations, we don't have the option of laying off low performers to make the end of year bottom line look better. What teachers think they hear from the business leader alarms them. We want to train our employees at public expense to produce a budget, drive a truck, or run a spreadsheet. And you can't even do that right. We are interested only in the mass-produced worker units that do what they are told. Beyond that, all these interchangeable units need to learn how to read and do a little math. And that is today's reading. It was really interesting, and I think that education actually there's just a lot of second alternative thinking based on the teachers as well as the business leaders. They are not trying to come up with a solution that would help the children. So I really think that our nations really need to look into that, so that, because when a child doesn't get proper resources for primary education, that however affects the kind of future that they would have. And the same business leaders that don't want to perhaps provide these resources or help the public schools, rather, they're the ones that have to deal with such kind of employees. So I think today I really learned that it just really enforced the fact that education is important, and at a primary level, you need to, the roots is really important, because it is the one that determines how the plant will be. So with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying your Monday and happy reading. This video, you can find it on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.